we doing, everybody? Sam here. What night is it? I don't even know anymore. Tuesday night. And I'm here announcing, well, I'm not announcing it. I'm reacting to it. But Manchester United have announced a deal for Raphael Varane. Bonsoir, Raphael. Mon ami. Oh, I did not expect this to happen so early. I was at the gym. Bastards. How dare you announce it when I'm at the gym? But I'm here. You're here. Let's react to the news. Let's react to the fact that Raphael Varane is going to be a Manchester United player. As Martial says there, I'm 45 minutes late. I'm sorry about that, United. How dare you announce it when I'm at the gym? Big up to you, by the way, Helen Wilson, for joining as a member. How are you doing? And big up to you, Lone Wanderer. Feeling generous. Get a crate on me. Everybody get the cans out. Varane cans. I thought the Varane cans were coming out on Friday. The Varane cans are coming out on a Tuesday evening. Who knew it? Make sure, as always, you let me know in the comments where you're watching this from. I'll try and give you a shout out throughout the stream. Just drop a like on the video. Smash it because, as you can see here, Manchester United have announced a deal for Raphael Varane. This is the official statement from the club. Manchester United is delighted to announce the club has reached an agreement with Real Madrid for the transfer of French international defender and World Cup winner Raphael Varane, subject to a medical and to player terms being finalised. This is truly sensational news from Manchester United, isn't it? It's not something I expected to happen, but it's happened. And I still can't sort of get my head around the fact that this has happened. The fact that Raphael Varane is a Manchester United player. Let me zoom in on my face here. Raphael Varane is a Manchester United player. And not only are we signing Raphael Varane, we're signing Raphael Varane at 28 years old. And some people are going to say, look, the majority of the career is not behind him, man. It's just that he's won so much by the time he's 28. And he's still got his peak years ahead of him. My mind is blown. Look, I know Jadon Sancho is an incredible signing. But for me, Raphael Varane is a level above that, in my own opinion, in terms of clubs looking in and going, just looking at the signings that we're making. They're going, Raphael Varane. Shit. Damn. And of course, they're going to be saying that about Jadon Sancho. But Raphael Varane is one that just makes all the difference in our defense, which needed it so much. The official statement from Real Madrid, they're there with their tail between their legs. And this sort of explains the feeling that everyone thought about Raphael Varane. He's presented himself very, very well. Real Madrid and Manchester United have reached an agreement for the transfer of Raphael Varane. Our club thanks you for your professionalism and exemplary behaviour during the 10 seasons in which you have defended our shirt, in which we've won 18 trophies, 4 Champions League, 4 Club World Cups, 3 European Super Cups, 3 leagues, 1 Copa del Rey, and 3 Spanish Super Cups. Almost run out of breath trying to explain all those. Real Madrid wants to show all its affection to Raphael Varane and his family and wishes him good luck in this new stage of his professional career. Look, Raphael Varane, Real Madrid are not going to say a bad word about him. No Real Madrid fan will say a bad word about him. He has absolutely deserved this move. He's absolutely deserved the contract, which they didn't give him. That's their own fault. We've got Timothy watching from Kingston, Jamaica. Big up to you watching from Kingston. Big up all of Jamaica and big up to Raphael Varane joining Manchester United. How excited are you about this? You let me know in the comments. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to United People's TV. This is the time to get generous, people. Come on. Raphael Varane has joined. My God, man. This really is it. This is the signing this is the turning point signing for me, as far as I'm concerned, for Manchester United. Jadon Sancho was a brilliant signing, and I'm not trying to downplay how important that signing is. But Raphael Varane, for me, is a bigger signing in a bigger problem area that Manchester United not only needed to resolve, but we've resolved it and then some. We've just gone out and signed somebody you could argue is the top centre-back in the world. He's in the top 5. That's a given. You could argue that Raphael Varane is the best centre-back in the world if you really want to. You can't argue with his CV. You can't argue with his record. You can't argue with the trophies that he's won and everything that he has done now. And exactly that, Danny, exactly that. City and Liverpool are now looking at Manchester United going, crap. That's a good team. That's a good team. That's a good signing. That's a good team. Manchester United are on the upward trajectory. We have been under Solskjaer, but this is a signing that that other clubs are going to look at and go, crap. And that is why it's such an important signing. It's not that I care what other people think, but it's about impressions. And we need that fear factor back. This made me laugh. This is Marcus Rashford's reaction. Can you stop spamming my post now? Oui. Immediately replied, obviously, where is it? Oui. That was a nice little bit from me there. Should have got more engagement, but it didn't. Oh, well. Oui, indeed. Oui. Hey, look. Jeez, man. You let me know your reaction in the comments below. And maybe I'm getting overly excited, but I don't think I am. I think Raphael Varane, look, what's that? Eggberry watching on Facebook. Varane and Maguire is a good combo. That's downplaying it, my friend. Raphael Varane and Harry Maguire, you could easily argue, right, that they're going to be the best centre-back partnership in the Premier League next year. Ruben Diaz and John Stones were at City. Obviously, Liverpool didn't really have Van Dijk, and Van Dijk and Gomez are a good partnership. Yeah, given that too. But Raphael Varane and Harry Maguire, look, the Prem ain't ready, says D-Rov. And you're not wrong there, man. Look, so for 8 years, man, people have just looked at us and we've become a laughingstock of the Premier League. Making odd signings, making tons of signings, selling players, different styles of footballs, different styles of managers. Swings and round, just huge swings and pendulums at United. And we've just never had proper momentum. We have had huge momentum under Solskjaer. And this summer, he has been backed. This is an important stat to show here from Bill Rice from, I think it's from BBC Radio Manchester. The spending since Solskjaer was appointed Manchester United boss. Look at that. We've gone big this year. It's not even the 1st of August, and Manchester United, in a summer where nobody really expected it, Manchester United have gone big on 2 big signings, and it's taken us now with the biggest spenders by basically the 2 signings we've made, more than City. But that goes to show how much City had spent before. And I'll be honest, I want to say something here. Look, Roberto, how you doing, Roberto? Nice to see you, my friend, saying very excited with this partnership. I'm dead excited as well, my friend. Great to have you as a member. If you want to, there's a little join button. Come. Helen Wilson, thank you very much for joining. I saw that before the stream. Big up to have you in the family and good to have you involved. But I completely forgot what I was going to say. I was talking about Raphael Varane and I was talking about Harry Maguire. They are going to be absolutely sensational. And as Stephen said there, look, they've got the foundations for success to follow. You build, look, attacks. I think Fergie said this, attacks win you games, defense wins you titles. And the only reason that United really couldn't properly mount a title push last year is because we were a sieve at the back. We were just weak at the back. We just kept conceding. We kept going 1-0 down, but we had such a good attack that we kept getting ourselves out of those holes. Now, that can change because our attack is not only as good as it was last season, it's better than it was last season because we've added Jadon Sancho, and now we've got an actual defence. Luke Shaw, you could argue he's the best left back in the world on form. Harry Maguire proved himself to be world-class at Euro 2020. And now we've partnered him with a player who complements him so well, which I'll explain in a little bit, and is absolutely elite. Raphael Varane walking into that dressing room, he should be walking in like Conor McGregor. Well, before he was shit. Swinging, just confident, oozing out of him. And players are going to look up to him and see, like, okay, what's the secret, man? Not only have you won the Champions League once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Raphael Varane has won the Champions League more than Manchester United has as a football club. That's how successful he has been in the last 10 years. 3 La Liga titles, 3 Super Cup, 18 trophies in the last 4 years. Unbelievable. Helen, how you doing? Thank you very much for your comment. Hi, Sam. Do you think we'll go for a CDM now that we've signed 2 incredible players? I will get onto that as the next point, Helen, and I really, really hope so, because as I've always said before, and I've maintained, I still don't think that Manchester United will really mount a title push properly without a defensive midfielder. That's my own opinion. But my word, man, we've signed Raphael Varane in his absolute peak. His absolute peak. He's 28 years old. He's an established, experienced World Cup winning centre-back, and he's coming into a team which was missing that, which really was missing that. And that's why I wanted Euro 2020 to go to England, not only just because I'm English, but also because I wanted Maguire to come back as a winner. Rashford, Sancho. It was important that happened for me. But it didn't. But now that we've got Raphael Varane, that's the sort of experience he can come into the dressing room, and you really can't underestimate how important that's going to be. So next season, every single Premier League game, if they are fit, our centre-back partnership is going to be Harry Maguire and Raphael Varane. That will not change. And that sort of stability is so important when it comes to defence. Mushtaq, you're saying really can't wait for the Leeds game now. I tell you what, man, I cannot wait for the Leeds game either. I cannot wait to see what happens. Make sure if you're new here, subscribe. It's free down below. Drop a like on the video. If you want to join, become a member of United People's TV, there's a join button there on YouTube. It's cheaper than the price of a pint. And we all have to get Varane cans for Friday, don't we? Then big up to Lone Wanderer as well for sending that super chat in earlier. I'm definitely going to be getting some cans now for Varane on Friday. But look, this is what I mean when I say that it's all good and well signing excellent players. But when you sign excellent players that fit into exactly what you need, that's when they become superb signings. Harry Maguire was, I think, better than most people gave him credit for last season. Would that be a fair thing to say? You let me know what you think about that in the comments. He was hyper criticized, but he showed his quality at Euro 2020. He was absolutely outstanding for England. And the reason that we haven't really seen the best of Harry Maguire at Manchester United, in my opinion, is because his partner's just changed and changed and changed. One day it's one game, it's different. One game it's next. Ritesh saying lots of positivity. Let's go. Exactly, man. Lots of positivity about this and lots of positivity about how good Maguire's going to be next year. Because look at his heat map. He is a left-sided centre-back. That's where he plays. And therefore, it was important that we got another centre-back partner, who complemented him. And just look at Raphael Varane's heat map from last year. Look at that. Look how good that complements each other. Oh, wow, wee, wah, as Borat would say. It's just, it fits. It fits like a glove. And it's not like you're forcing a left-footed centre-back to come in and play on the right-hand side. And it's a bit, I'm not sure whether that's going to work or not. When you look at the partnership of Varane and Maguire on paper, you're like, oh, wow. That really feels like it's going to work together in the same way that Rio and Vidic complemented each other, a Rolls Royce and a bouncer, just perfectly doing different styles of centre-backing alongside each other. And it was a partnership which obviously was the best that we've seen at Manchester United, unless you're going to argue Bruce and Patterson, which I think you absolutely could. Timothy, you're asking here, do you think Manchester United's formation next season will be a 4-3-3? I really hope it will be a 4-3-3, but we all know that absolutely does depend on Manchester United signing a defensive midfielder, which is definitely going to be my next point, which I'm moving on to. Don't you dare worry about that. I'm just going to keep reacting, see what's going on here, see if there's any more news coming out. We've got Simon Peach from the BBC, good old Simon, saying Raphael Varane will sign his Manchester United contract and complete his medical after obtaining a visa and completing quarantine. We've got Simon Stoney saying Raphael Varane and his family require visas to get into the UK. Then he will have to quarantine once he's in England before he has his medical at Manchester United. Now, that's something we've seen. That's just a consequence of the... 1 second, I have to put someone in the timeout there. We've got someone spamming the comments. We're going to have to see what happens there and how long it takes. But it's a little bit frustrating. But I'll be honest, look, we've waited 8 years. I've said this already. We've waited 8 years for Manchester United to act properly in the transfer market. I can wait another week before I see Raphael Varane in the United shirt. We've got Lim saying, what an awesome signing. How you doing, my friend? It is an awesome signing. Look, you let me know in the comments now. Which of these signings do you think is more important for Manchester United next season? I'm really interested to know. And not only let me know, but why? Is Raphael Varane more important for Manchester United? And is it a bigger signing? Or is Jadon Sancho more important? And is it a bigger signing? Which of those do you think is going to have the biggest impact on Manchester United's fortunes across the Premier League season? Because I'll be interested. I think you could probably argue, and that's why I want to extend it to you in the comments, because I think plenty of you could argue that it's going to be Jadon Sancho. I'll be interested to know why. For me personally, I think it's Raphael Varane. Easily Raphael Varane. Stephen Wayne was saying, as Bono already saying, it's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. It is a perfect day. Beautiful day. Let's see what you think, though, in terms of the most important signing here. Let's go down to the comments. We've got Man United Corner. You're saying Jadon Sancho is more important. Fella with a Stella, which I absolutely love the name. Varane to stabilise the defence. Let me know why you think either of them is the most important in the comments, as always, because I really want to understand what you think here. We've got Alison's TV channel. How you doing, Alison? We're one more signing to winning the title from Bronx, New York. I'll get you added onto the map, my friend, after we've had this chat. We've got Danny X saying Varane because we conceded a lot of goals. We've got Sam Gray on Facebook saying we needed Varane more than we needed Sancho. Got Pineapple Tango. Did they do Pineapple Tango? I've never heard of Pineapple Tango. Finally, Manchester United has a team worthy of judging Solskjaer. I think that's fair. I hope that it's not quarantined for 10 days. I saw that in a comment there. I don't know. But let's see. It's going to have to be quarantined for at least 5 days. Right now, Roy, this is a good point. This is a very good point as to why you could argue Sancho. Sancho, therefore, brings Manchester United an actual genuine threat on the right-hand side, doesn't he? Whereas before, it's always been down the left. It's been Pogba, it's been Bruno, switching it left to Rashford. It's why Rashford became so exhausted, because all of our attacks had to go through him. We had no real threat on the right-hand side. Greenwood cut inside, but he cut inside. It was obvious he wasn't going to go out on the outside like a traditional winger. Jadon Sancho does bring that unpredictability. And being unpredictable is the single most important thing you can have as an attacker in football. Because unless you're Iron Robin, and then you can just do the same thing 400 times and nobody seems to be able to stop you. He's an anomaly. Let's ignore Iron Robin. You need unpredictability. You need to be able to go on the left, on the right, inside and outside. And Manchester United, before we signed Jadon Sancho, were a very predictable team. You looked at the heat maps from all of our games pretty much. Down the left, like 60% down the left, 25% down the middle, whatever the other percentage down right, 15%. That changes with Jadon Sancho, and that is why it's an importance. It's a very good comment there, whoever left that. Thank you very much, Roy. Oh, look, Man United have come in and actually joined as a YouTube member. Big up to Man United. Big up to you, my friend, for joining the family. Great to have you on board. Walder, you're saying, I believe it will be 50-50. I think it can go either way, depending on what we're doing, attacking or defending. Let's hope that we're attacking more next season. But now, this signing Varane gives Manchester United the confidence and the ability to really go on the front foot. I think without signing Raphael Varane, there was no chance of us going 4-3-3 next season. And for me, I don't really think we can do a 4-3-3 properly unless we sign a defensive midfielder, which I've always maintained. But having Raphael Varane in that team means we've now got a centre-back partnership and a back four, which Solskjaer will actually have trust in. And therefore, there's going to be, even if we don't sign a defensive midfielder, we won't automatically go to the McFred. Because we don't have to now. We've got Varane. Varane changes the necessity to play McFred for Solskjaer, I think, anyway. But this is an important point here, which Hedden, you mentioned earlier. And this is what Simon Stoney had to say about new signings. After Jadon Sancho and Raphael Varane, further signings by Manchester United this summer will almost certainly depend on sales. Now, I know that's the case. That's definitely the case at Manchester United. But the thing I'm really happy about, and this is a very important point, the thing I'm happy about is the fact that Manchester United have already made our two big signings. Two of our big signings. Hopefully there's three. We've made two of the big signings. And we've done that without selling any players. Whereas previously, what Manchester United would have always done with signings is wait until we've sold and got the money back before we go out and make the big signings. We've changed that philosophy this summer. And that's the mentality of a big club. And that's where the switch really has come this summer. We've gone big, got two big signings before August, before we've sold a player. Now we've got a few weeks. What I would say, 27th of July. We've got just about 5 weeks until the transfer window closes. I reckon the next 3 weeks are going to be all about sales. And for me, it's very simple. Selling Jesse Lingard and Andreas Pereira effectively gives you 30 to 35 million, which effectively gives you Camavinga or Neves. And right there, you've got a player which could come in and transform our midfield. And it's just by selling Lingard and just by selling Pereira. That doesn't even take into account that you're going to be letting, hopefully, Phil Jones go, Twanzebe go, Met on loan, Mengi on loan, Dalot maybe on loan. You get money from that. There's so much that can be done. So much that can be done to bring in a new central defensive midfielder. But saying that at the same time, Sancho, 72 million over 4 years. That's 16 mil this year. Varane, even if it's over 2 years, that's 17 mil. That's like 35 mil that we are outlaid this summer. That's really not that much. So I still think we should be able to afford a defensive midfielder with that one. But I understand the fact that we need to trim the squad before we bring more in. You keep letting me know in the comments what you think about this. What do you want to see next? As always, keep firing in your super chats. Big up to support for everybody giving the channel, and big up to anybody who joins as a member on YouTube. Just click the join button down below. It's less than the price of a pint. Come on. Got pig trim? PG trim. Do I think Lindelof can do the job as a central defensive midfielder? Look, he might be able to do the job as a central defensive midfielder, but I don't want anybody to be doing a job anywhere for Manchester United next season. You can't go out and sign Varane one of the world's best centre-backs. You can't go out and sign Sancho, one of the best right-wingers in the world, and then expect someone to do a job in central defensive midfield. It's pointless investing so well in 2 key positions and ignoring the third one and trying to do a makeshift, because it's just going to end badly for you. If you're going to do that, you may as well not invest at centre-back and not invest at right wing. They've backed Solskjaer with 2 big signings, but the third signing has to happen. And by the looks of it, we're going to have to rely on player sales before that player comes in. I don't think that should be the case, but that is the case. And on paper, it's very simple. I repeat myself now, but Lingard and Pereira, that in itself will fund pretty much a new central defensive midfielder. And let's not even talk, look, as Danny says here, look, let's get rid of Pogba now. If he doesn't want to play for us, sell him and get Neves in. Pogba is the big question. Maybe there's not going to be anything happening with Pereira. Maybe there's not going to be anything happening with Lingard. And maybe it all depends and revolves around Paul Pogba, because I think personally, we don't need to replace Paul Pogba in his position. We need to give Donny van de Beek the platform that he didn't get last season, that he deserves, that earned him the move to Manchester United. And if we do sell Paul Pogba, that money should be going on a central defensive midfielder. My God, I would imagine we sign Verratti. I think I'd just collapse. I love watching Verratti play. Absolutely love watching him play. Just not just for Italy, but for PSG as well. He's just an absolutely must-have player. For someone who's like 4'1", he has such a dominance in midfield. And that's the sort of player that we do need. That's the sort of player that I genuinely do think Ruben Neves could be. But let's quickly head back up here, because something that I really want to talk about in terms of Raphael Varane. So if we're looking at what might be our best formation with the current players that we do have in our team, and we're going to be switching to a 4-3-3, you're probably looking at something like this. I personally think Henderson is our number 1 over David De Gea. I think that's happened. I think that will happen across the season. Our back 5 now makes itself Shaw, Maguire, Varane, and Wan-Bissaka. Well, tell me what year our defense was as good as that. You're going to have to go really far back to find a back 4 as strong as that. You really are going to have to go to like Evra, Vidic, Ferdinand, and Neville days, aren't you? It's been a long time since we've had a back 5 like that. Now, I'm only putting Scott McTominay here because I don't want Nemanja Matic to be playing any major games. Really, he's too slow. He's too old. It doesn't work. Does not work. He's not leggy enough. He's just static. And Fred can't play that holding role on his own. So therefore, if we really are playing a holding midfielder and we're not going to sign anybody, then Scott McTominay is the answer there. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but that's what I would say is the best thing to do. If we're going to be keeping Paul Pogba, he's there, and keeping Bruno. Look, if Paul Pogba is leaving, then look, you put Donny van de Beek in there, nothing really changes. But this is the key difference, I think, that we're going to see with Raphael Varane next season. So make sure you watch out for this. I would say Manchester United, typically we probably quite banked on the edge of our own box, really. They sit quite deep. Typically, you've had McTominay playing there with Fred alongside him. You have Bruno playing there, and you can see there's just so much space. So you probably say this is a formation that we saw so often last season. Greenwood out on the right there. It's like that. So McTominay and Fred playing as a double pivot, sitting in front of the defence. You had Bruno playing as a number 10, and you had Greenwood and you had Rashford as the wingers. Now, this is where the change happens this season, because instead of playing Fred, you're playing Pogba there. You're switching him up there. And instead of playing one player behind our attackers, you're playing 2. And this is the key difference with Raphael Varane. So because instead of our defense sitting that deep, you'll be able to see this. You'll be able to see Manchester United's line move up the pitch significantly, because we've now got the confidence in our back 4. We know that we've got Shaw and Wan-Bissaka there to cover. We always had them to cover. But just by doing that, just by playing Manchester United slightly further up the pitch, you're going to see us win the ball back early. You're going to see us control games a lot more, because instead of just passing it around the back 4 willy-nilly and it not really affecting and improving Manchester United going forward, we can play with a higher line. You might see a defensive midfielder or a holding midfielder sit on the edge of the centre circle instead of on the edge of his own D. That is big. That's huge. And that's why Varane himself is going to change how Manchester United play. What we do need now there is, look, if you're looking in a dream situation for a pure holding midfielder, you're looking at Wilfred Ndidi from Leicester. What an absolute dominant player he would be there. And that team right there, capable of winning the You didn't get there, Sancho. Forgot about you. Talking about last season. That team right there, capable of winning things. Plenty of things. Everything. All the pots. All 5 pots. Twice. 4 times in a row. I don't care. Treble, treble. Quadruple, quadruple. But no, in serious note, this is a signing where it changes for us. Right now, this Man United team might be able to challenge for the Premier League next year. Looking at it, you're thinking this team, I'll tell you what, those 2 signings are magnificent. This team is far better than last year. We could mount a title race, but there's still that little niggle at the back of your mind saying, but what about defensive midfield? But what about that? I'm still unsure about that. I think we're going to be, and probably across the course of the season, you're going to be seeing that exposed as the weakness in this Manchester United team. So that's why it's so important that we go out and sign one. According to Simon Stoney, as we discussed here, apparently it's going to rely on player sales. I don't think that should be the case. I think we've still got enough money without that, but I don't really know. Marshall, how you doing? Sancho done, Varane done. Still a few more days left for transfers. Oh, more days, mate. We've got five weeks. So, dear Mod John Murto, let's push for that CDM, man. Look, we've got Mode on Facebook saying, look, we agree with Ndidi. Richie, you're saying Declan Rice. We're outpriced Declan Rice. It's not going to happen. Mikhail, you're saying would love Ndidi. We would all love Ndidi. But it depends whether or not Manchester United are going to sign a pure defensive midfielder or sign a central midfielder, because, of course, we've been linked with Camavinga, who is not a pure out-and-out central defensive midfielder. We've been linked with Saul Niguez, who's a playmaker. He's more of a Pogba than a Ndidi. You've got Neves, who for me is an all-rounder, who could be molded more into a holding midfielder if you wanted him to play there. Then you've got Zakaria is not really a player we've been massively linked with, really. You've got Leon Goretzka, who for me, I don't think there's any chance of Goretzka leaving. I think it's just the fact that he's using us for a new contract. I think Goretzka's very much a Ramos Part 2 situation. We all, quite a lot of us, and I'll be honest, I certainly did when the rumours really started to kick in. When I saw the Varane story, I was like, hold on a minute. I've seen this before. I know what you're doing here, Rafa. Yeah, I'm not going to fall for this one again. Showed how wrong I was, because he definitely wanted to join Manchester United, and he has joined Manchester United. I'm not sure if you knew, ladies and gentlemen, but Manchester United have announced that an agreement has been reached for Raphael Varane to Manchester United. Drop a like on the video for that, ladies and gents. Smash that like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and get involved. Drop a like on Facebook. Share the stream too, because Raphael Varane is a Manchester United player. And I'm putting my hands there to shout it, because it's just, we've just signed a player from Real Madrid in his prime. In his prime. I don't care. Don't try and tell me that, Raphael Varane's 28. He's 28. 28 is prime. The next 3 years of his career are going to be the best of his, in terms of the player that can lead a team round him, that can do everything, that has the experience of winning. He's got it all in the bag, man. He's got it all in the bag, and Manchester United have him now alongside Harry Maguire. That centre-back partnership is absolutely stunning. Got Billy Jean saying, I'll shave my head if Goretzka leaves. Hell, I'll shave my head if Goretzka leaves. That's how confident I am that that's not going to happen. Nitro saying Rice is overpriced, uncomposed, and a poor passer. I think maybe that's a little bit unfair on Declan Rice, but there's one thing he certainly is, and he's certainly overpriced. And that's why there's absolutely naffle chance that we are going to sign Declan Rice this summer. I think it's going to be a case that West Ham are going to price Rice out of a transfer this summer, which isn't very nice. And therefore, it's going to be next year that Declan Rice is going to be leaving. You're probably going to be looking at more like 50, 55 million. And it depends whether or not at that point next year, Manchester United need a defensive midfielder. If we need one, maybe we can have that conversation about Declan Rice. If we don't, that ship has sailed. We've got Sunil, you're saying Saul Niguez. Let's have a look. Who else is saying? We've got Bayua saying Ndidi would be perfect watching from Uganda. How you doing, my friend? He can say Ndidi is cheaper and better than Rice. He's certainly a more out-and-out pure defensive midfield signing. Neves within 35 million is an absolute no-brainer, says Islam. You know I agree. You know I absolutely agree. But apparently it depends on sales. Let's see what happens there. A couple more comments here. We've got... Hey, look, Seth saying Murto's a real man. Big up, John Murto. Don't try and tell me it's a coincidence. Don't try and tell me, oh, look, Ed Woodward's still at the club. Maybe it's him. Is it? Fuck. Sorry to swear. I hate Ed Woodward. Absolute cancer on the club. That's what he was. And we've cut him out. And now, either by a coincidence or the fact that he's been taken out of his role, we've signed 2 key players by the 1st of August. Over 2 weeks before the first game of the season against Leeds, we've made our 2 marquee signings, which means that for the first time in a long time, Manchester United can head into the season. What was it last year? Crystal Palace first game of the season? 3-1. Was it 3-1? We got pumped at home. I know that. I can't remember what it was before. I remember Mourinho, we lost it against Brighton. We lost at Brighton and we still needed signings. Now, Solskjaer's been given the tools and the squad to start that season strong, to go against Leeds at home, at Old Trafford, and beat them and start confidently, start at the top of the league. And instead of chasing teams the whole time, it's doing that. It's like looking up at people who are winning. I don't know what I'm doing this for. This is a little mini ladder I'm walking up. Instead of doing that, we can go top, go out strong, and therefore we can start very strongly. And that's something we haven't been able to do for years because we've been poor in the transfer market. We've done our managers a dirty in the fact that none of them have had the ability to have a settled squad. They go into the start of the season thinking, I still want new signings. I still want new players. Now, as Billie Jean says, look, if we sign Neves or Sauniguez, it's easier for Haaland to join next season. Of course, it will be easier for Haaland to join because we will be champions, my friend. Raphael Varane, man. Raphael Varane. Let's take a little time, take a little moment there, just to think about how good that signing is. How good that signing is. I can't get my head around it. I really, really can't. We've taken advantage of an opportunity and we have properly taken advantage of an opportunity. We didn't let other clubs get involved. We went in there strong and we got Raphael Varane. The 2 main signings that we wanted this summer were Sancho and Varane. We've got both of them. Kieran, if Pep was our coach after Fergie, where do you think we would now be as a football club? Well, we certainly would have won the Premier League a couple of times. That is for sure. Fergie, he had that little secret meeting with Pep in Paris. I remember that. And then we went and signed David Moyes and that didn't really work out. That's a shame. Got Danny, who's a member, saying, once we get rid of Deadwood, we need to look at Neves or Kelvin Phillips. Both are very good players. Look, Kelvin Phillips certainly impressed at the Euros at the start. I think Rice actually sort of grew into it. But Kelvin Phillips, he certainly impressed me enough. I haven't watched enough of Leeds this season to see how good he was, but he clearly has real ability there. And Manchester United just need a central defensive midfielder now, and we are a complete team. We're a complete team. Right now, we've got 10 out of 11 positions sorted. Whether or not you want to argue about Henderson or David De Gea, that's fine. You can argue that. And I think it's a fair argument to have. I'm not here saying David De Gea is finished. I'm saying that right now, this summer, from a human perspective, David De Gea, if he wants that move away, he deserves that move away. But at the same time, from Manchester United's club perspective, we have the ability to bring Dean Henderson in right now and be our number 1. And he wants to play for Manchester United, and he will do everything he can to become the best goalkeeper in the world. And for me, it just seems like the right time for that to happen, both for club and player. That's why I keep saying that, and that's why I say Henderson is number 1. Cruz, you disagree? You're saying Henderson for cups. Fair enough, but I disagree. Basuma says Addison's TV channel will be absolutely incredible in the central defensive midfield position. He would be. There's so many players who would be there. And that's the key, I suppose, difficulty here, because when you reach this point now, basically any central midfielder would look good for Manchester. You'd be like, yeah, cool, sign him. I'd sign him. You don't want to be desperate in that sense. You want to sign the right player for the right reasons. And maybe that's why we haven't gone after a defensive midfielder yet, because we don't know what's happening with our midfield. Maybe it's the fact that if we sell Paul Pogba, our midfield needs change. And maybe we'll get someone like Sauniguez in. I don't know. It strikes me as it's a slightly more complicated transfer for the club to be making. On paper, it's very simple. We need a defensive mid. Easy. But maybe in terms of how it fits into this style of play and everything that Solskjaer is building, maybe it's a little bit more difficult than we give it credit for. And maybe that's why we went for Sancho and Varane first. Maybe this was always a plan. Always a plan to get Sancho first. Always a plan to get Varane second. Always a plan to then sell a few players. And always the plan to get a central defensive midfielder. And we're just witnessing the plan happening. Because if that is the plan, I love that plan. I'm all for that plan. Big up that plan. Because that plan so far has got us Raphael Varane and Jadon Sancho before the 1st of August. Got Joshua Mercer watching from Works saying, as you said, there's a little thing back in my mind about number 6 position. Was DMing you on Twitter a few months ago. How you doing, Josh? Thanks for DMing me. Thanks to everybody who DM'd me there. It was a very exposing video that I did. It's all about mental health. It felt right at the time. I stand by the fact that I did that video because I wanted to do it to help other people. And the amount of people that messaged me with their own stories that used the fact that I've spoken out on a bigger platform, they're like, right, if you can do it, I can do it. And that's why I did it. That's why it was so important for me to make that public. So like, big up to everybody who did. I literally got hundreds of messages that day, and the day when I went in for surgery. Inspirational. It really, really was. So thank you to everyone on that. Let's have a look at the comments. Chicken Man, what are you coming with this sort of negativity for, man? Varane scoring own goals. He can score plenty of goals against City, but save that for Jadon Sancho. I want to see him scoring plenty of goals against City and then pulling off a shirt. We're just going to go and slap Pep Guardiola on his bald head. That's what I want to see. Stephen, how you doing, my friend? For a long time, we can look forward to the first game in a relaxed manner because the most important transfers have already been made. Now another CDM. Exactly that, my friend. It's a different... Manchester United can go into this season now and we've got our everything's in order. Everything's in the right. We've got our big signings in. It's not going to be a case of going in on the first game of the season thinking, Christ, we still need a striker. We still need a centre-back. We probably need a right-back and a right winger too. 10 out of 11 of those positions, for me, are sorted. There's only one final piece of the puzzle that we need to get. And let's see what happens there. Look, as Simon Stoney said over here, and let's quickly pull this back up for you. He's saying that getting a defensive midfielder or just a midfielder, the next signing, relies on Manchester United selling players. I don't think that should be the case because we haven't actually spent that much this summer because you're splitting Sancho and Varane deals over a period of 4 years each. So therefore, we should still have some money. But it's the coronavirus market. Jadon Sancho is the only player in the Premier League, the only transfer in the Premier League that's over 40 million. And Manchester United were the club to make it. And we've just signed Varane for just under 40 million too. So compared to our rivals, Man United are taking advantage of the opportunity that the coronavirus market has given us. And I'll be honest, I want to say a big thank you to every single person who protested, every single person who went to Old Trafford today, who walked on the pitch at Old Trafford that day, who tweeted online, every single one of you who did your part to get rid of the Glazers. My Newton Heath scarf sitting there. You know what I think about the Glazers. You know how I feel about the Glazers. We've had so many conversations about them. And no doubt, I still will have more about them with you. But for me, I would say this summer is really feeling like a direct consequence of the protests. I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of them trying to rein it back in after they went to the Super League. I think it's a bit of the fact that the protests happened. And I think it's a bit of the fact that Solskjaer is actually getting backed. But you can't put it down to one individual reason. But they certainly helped change the narrative at Manchester United. And for me, I think that was a very important pint. Pint? I want a pint. I want a can for Varane, and I want a pint for I'm losing my mind. But that's what happens when you sign Raphael Varane. Bonsoir, Raphael. Mon ami. Bonjour. Hola. I'm losing my mind now, apparently. But Raphael Varane, man. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but Raphael Varane. There's Real Madrid saying he's a nice player. There's Marcus Rashford pulling out his comedy. And there's a bit that I talked about earlier there about look at the heat map for Harry Maguire and look at the heat map for Raphael Varane. They know their positions on the left and on the right. On the left and on the right. They're going to complement each other so well next season. I really cannot wait to see that. It really will be the most complementary partnership we've had since Rio and Vidic. Whether they can be as good as Rio and Vidic, I don't know. But they can certainly be as complementary to each other. And that's an important aspect of it all because there's no point in having two Vidics and there's no point in having two... Oh, it would still be a great defense. And there's no point in having two Ferdinands, but again, that'll be a great defense. Bad examples. But you want two players that complement each other. And that's a big reason why Victor Lindelof didn't really work alongside Harry Maguire because he just didn't complement him well. That's my own opinion. What I'll do is let you keep firing in the comments. Fire in any super chats, any questions you want to ask me. If you're new to the channel, please drop a like on the video and subscribe. Get involved. I'm here every day. I've been here twice today. I was here like, what is it, 2-3 times yesterday? It's been a busy week here on United People's TV, and it's only going to get busier. There's going to be a new video editor coming on. There's going to be new videos coming out. My season predictions, my Man United predictions. Predicted 11 for the Leeds game. Ooh, baby. So make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss any of that. Got Mohammed saying, if Ollie gets the signing he needs, do you think Manchester United are able to be title contenders? Mohammed, absolutely. 100%. Solskjaer, the pressures on Solskjaer have now changed because he has been backed correctly by the board, by the club as a manager. He's been given the tools. And if Jose Mourinho was given Harry Maguire that summer, then maybe we could have had that same conversation with him, but he didn't. And then it all sort of, everything fell out. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a great team last year. He's now got 2 players that he wanted. His 2 primary signings. Top choices in both positions. He has got both of them. Now he needs a defensive midfielder to make it a pure team. Otherwise, there's always going to be that hole. And across the whole season, we're going to be talking about that defensive midfield position. You're going to see Fred play there. You're going to see McTominay play there. You're going to see both. We're going to switch to the McTominay and McFred partnership. You're going to see Matic play there. You're going to see just loads of makeshift in that position. Whereas in the other 10 positions, it's all solid as cement. That's what Manchester United need to do. That's why Manchester United need to change. Got Hassan saying, Varane, here we go. Those 3 words. I love those words, my friend. I love the fact that Fabrizio Romano joined in on that live stream. That goes down as one of the best live streams we've done so far. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Look at that. Mo Wada, excellent stat there. Blanc was 35 when we signed him. Blanc, he was a mad signing. I think he used to smoke cigarettes in a dressing room. Don't know whether I'm lying about that now or not. So it might be. So don't take me that. We've got Steven saying, still quite overwhelmed by this week. Hopefully there'll be more to come. Greetings from Basel in Switzerland. My friend has just moved to Basel, so maybe you can go and help him. He's house hunting at the moment. Doc Joshi, if you're watching, you've got a friend in Stephen. And I'm overwhelmed is probably not the word I would choose, but completely blown away is the 3 words I would choose, because I'm watching my club, Manchester United, act like Manchester United. So on paper, going into a summer, it all seems so simple. Get your signings done nice and early, like Fergie did, and you can sit there on transfer deadline day with your hands behind your head, smoking a cigar with a can, just laughing at other teams as they scramble to make signings. I used to love doing that. I used to love it. And then Man United happened. And then we're signing Cavani in the last second. We're signing Falcao on deadline day. And then we're like, oh, crap, we're the team that we're the team that we used to laugh at. That's not the case this summer. We've gone and we've got our big 2 signings. We need that big 3rd signing. That's key, crucial, is that central defensive midfielder to make it a complete team. But I'm just watching Manchester United act like Manchester United should. And that is a big momentum shift, a big mentality shift off the pitch that I think will be represented on the pitch in Raphael Varane coming in Jadon Sancho coming in. That mentality, Man United's coming back, man. Piece by piece, slowly, we've been on an upward trajectory for a long time. So many people have liked to slate Solskjaer for so many reasons. But look at us now. Are we not in the strongest position as a football club on and off the pitch since Fergie retired? You're damn straight we are. Oh, look at that, Wesley Lee. How you doing, Wes? Thank you very much for joining the squad. Looking forward to having chats with you on the Discord private channel, my friend. Got Hab Tamu saying, Sam, this is the best transfer window I ever recall since at Sir Alex. Hopefully we do get CDM sorted out. Then we're up there for the title. I think this Manchester United team should be there throughout the season. We should be right up there, either in top spot or chasing for top spot. But unfortunately, I think without that defensive midfield signing, I think the small margins are going to hurt Manchester United. And I think that's where we're going to fall down in key moments, in key games. That is an issue. That's an issue for me. It's probably an issue for you, as you always say. Now, I'll probably wrap it up now, and I'll be back here at 9:30 in the morning. But we've just agreed a deal. It's announced for Raphael Varane, ladies and gents. Drop a like on the video. Reds reach agreement for Varane transfer. The only thing we're waiting for now is for him to have his medical, and that's where we get excited. We've got Marshall saying, Up TV is by the people, for the people. Appreciate all the great efforts you put throughout thick and thin of the team. Thank you very much, Marshall. Look, I'll tell you what, my first year of a season ticket at United was when David Moyes was manager. I timed that horrendously badly, didn't I? But let's see. As Wesley says, a new member to the gang. Exciting times ahead, bro. Exactly that. Look, drop a like on the video if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook. Going to be launching a Twitch channel soon as well. That's exciting. Bringing the audience bigger and better. Thank you all very much for joining in. Sorry I was a little bit late. I was in the gym and United decided to announce Varane at, 7:30 on a Tuesday? Bastards, that's just selfish. But if you're new here, make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed it. I hope you did. I love these interactive shows. I'll be back here tomorrow at 9:30, so set your notifications bell on. Drop a like on the video. And I'm not sure if you've heard, ladies and gents, but we've agreed a deal to sign Raphael Varane.